Coming up, the Department of Justice will not seek a civil rights investigation into the death of Kendrick Johnson.
And a South Georgia man is indicted in Albany for growing marijuana following a bust in Decatur County. Your News Valdosta starts now.
Welcome to News Valdosta. I'm Brigette Wiley.
And I'm Zach Saxon. Topping off our news today, we have an update on the possible murder investigation of Kendrick Johnson. The Department of Justice announced Wednesday that they will not go forward with a civil rights investigation into the death of Kendrick Johnson. The Department of Justice commented that after reviewing the case, there was not enough sufficient evidence of a civil rights violation. The DOJ is continuing to monitor and evaluate the matter, including the second autopsy report that was recently released.
Daniel Bernard, a South Georgia man accused of running an underground marijuana growing operation in Decatur County, pleaded guilty Monday afternoon in federal court in Albany. Bernard, along with Tisha Fowler, was supposed to begin trial Monday on a 12-count indictment. Bernard, however, pleaded guilty to possession with intent to distribute while the charges against Fowler were dismissed. Prosecutors say Bernard grew more than 100 marijuana plants in a facility hidden under a horse barn on his property near Bainbridge. He'll be sentenced sometime in the future.
Calvin Moore of Tift County has been convicted of beating 53-year-old Lucius Harris Jr. to death 7 years ago. The case went before the Georgia Supreme Court to determine whether or not certain evidence was properly admitted at Moore's trial. If officials ruled that the evidence was not properly admitted, Moore would have had an opportunity for a new trial. The Georgia Supreme Court instead has chosen to uphold the murder conviction.
Officials with the Crisp County EMS are looking into safety improvements after 56-year-old Williams Henry Joyner was able to steal an ambulance last week. As paramedics were attempting to load up a patient for a transfer last Wednesday, they noticed the ambulance was missing. Within the hour, the Crisp County Sheriff's Office was able to track down Joyner with help from the Montezuma Police Department thanks to a GPS device located in the ambulance. EMS Director David Edwards would not explain the improvements but says adjustments will be made to prevent similar incidents from happening.
Starting this year, all Georgia high school freshmen are expected to consider areas of study that are geared toward careers. Hoping to address a dismal graduation rate and prepare students for the workforce, the state is requiring ninth graders to pick up one of 17 broad career clusters, such as finance or health sciences. Students have the option to opt out of this requirement, but officials are hopeful that college-bound students will take part in this opportunity. Critics have raised doubts that a high school freshman is capable of making a decision with potentially lifelong impact.
The Lowndes County Commissioners will consider the upcoming public referendum on SPLOST 7 when it meets at 5:30 this evening. The commissioners are expected to adopt a resolution advising voters whether or not to vote for the issue. Voters turned down a SPLOST proposed tax last year. A revised SPLOST proposal will appear on ballots in November. Board members are also expected to consider a request for sewer service from the Lowndes County Board of Education and to make an appointment to the Lowndes Valdosta Zoning Board of Appeals.
Albany native Lewis Buchanan has been sentenced to 18 months behind bars after pleading guilty to burglary yesterday. Buchanan was caught stealing copper wire from an apartment complex on Blakely Court, February 26th. Prosecutors explained how Buchanan did about $15,000 in damage to the property. A hearing will be held September 19th to establish the restitution to the Bank of Camilla that owned the property. Coming up, adopted teens may be at a higher risk for attempted suicide.
And a study shows a possible connection between smaller groins and a man's ability to be more nurturing to his children. Stay with us.
That's low, that's low. That's low. Look, he's blushing. Seriously. Okay.
So I got this new family. And I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
What will you find at Valdosta State University?
Challenging academics.
Innovative hands-on experience. Over 100 fields of study.
Engagement in a vibrant community.
Caring mentors and friends. Service and leadership opportunities.
Championship athletics.
The full university experience.
At Valdosta State University.
Welcome back to News Valdosta. A new study suggests teenagers may be at a higher risk of attempted suicide if they were adopted.
A new study suggests teenagers who are adopted may be at a greater risk of a suicide attempt than kids who are raised by their biological parents. The study of more than 1,200 teens found that those who were adopted were 4 times more likely to have attempted suicide. More than 8% of adopted girls and 5% of boys had tried to take their own lives, compared to less than 2% of non-adopted kids. The lead researcher, Margaret Keyes, however, quickly stressed that parents should not be alarmed. Keyes does suggest that parents and doctors will be aware of the relatively higher risk among adopted teens that are showing other potential risk factors for suicide, such as substance abuse or problems at school.
A new medical study suggests that dads with smaller testicles are more likely to be nurturing to their infants. Researchers at Emory University used an MRI to measure the gonads of 70 biological fathers, ages 21 to 43. The scientists also studied each dad's brain pattern as he viewed photos of his child, a stranger's child, or an adult stranger. Even though this study involved only 70 dads, researchers say they are confident that the subjects were diverse enough for a valid study. They concluded that men with smaller testicles are biologically predisposed towards nurturing their infants. However, the report claims more studies are needed to learn more about this concept.
People with low levels of a certain protein are at greater risk for sudden cardiac death in the morning. Researchers have discovered a protein known as KLF15 that plays a role in the regulation of the heart's electrical activity. Researchers are trying to develop genetic tests to identify people with a mutation in the KLF15 gene that could put them at risk for sudden cardiac death. The researchers suggested that their findings could lead to new treatments to reduce people's risk for this condition, in which the heart suddenly stops beating due to electrical instability.
New breast cancer research reveals a significant death rate among women under 50 who forego regular mammograms. Study researcher Dr. Blake Caddy, professor of surgery at Harvard Medical School and Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, says the finding supports the merit of regular mammograms, especially for younger women. The study also showed increase in breast cancer survival coinciding with the emergence of mammography. The message here is that mammography is a good part of your breast cancer prevention plan.
Coming up, a look at your local weather with Taylor Kelly.
And Quenisha Claiborne gives us a look at our local sports. Stay with us.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you were really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
Welcome back to News Valdosta. This weekend showed no signs of letting up on those high UV rays.
And here's Taylor Kelly with the forecast for today. Taylor?
Thanks, Zach. Let's take a look at our local weather forecast for today. Today is a beautiful day with a high of 90 degrees with a 10% chance of precipitation. And for tonight, we can look for a nice low of 68 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow will be another hot day with a high of 90 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Be sure to wear your sunscreen because the UV index is supposed to be high, and especially with the exposure lasting over 10 minutes. And good news for pollen or allergy sufferers out there, the pollen count isn't as high as it has been. It's still at a medium level, but it's not as high as it has been earlier this week, with the predominant pollen being ragweed and chinnopods. And that is your local weather forecast for today.
Thanks, Taylor. Coming up, Quenisha gives us a rundown on sports in our local area.
And a look at what to expect in this week's news. Stay with us.
In 1977, in Johannesburg, South Africa, an 8-year-old boy picked up the game of golf from his father. By the age of 9, he was already outplaying him. The odds of this gentle lad winning the Junior World Golf Championships at the age of 14, 1 in 16 million. The odds of that same boy then making it to the US and European Pro Golf Tours, 1 in 7 million. The odds of the Big Easy winning the Open Championship once and the US Open Championship twice, 1 in 780 million. The odds of this professional golfer having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 110. Ernie Els encourages you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.
$7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
Welcome back to News Valdosta. Now let's go to Quenisha Claiborne with a look at our sports. Quenisha?
In football, the Lowndes Vikings lost Friday's home game against the Newton Rams. The offense was disoriented and the defense appeared to be helpless as the Rams left the stadium with the 15-14 victory. Newton came to the stadium Friday night searching for what seemed to be a comeback after their devastating loss of 31-0 last season. Lowndes suffered through the first half of the game with a total of 6 flags, 3 fumbles, and even lost the ball twice. While Lowndes struggled on offense, Newton caught on rather quickly, spreading out the defense with receiver sets of 4 and 5. The Vikings tried with all their might but couldn't seem to drive the ball. After halftime, the scoreboard sat at an even score of 8, and the Vikings moved the ball up and down the field, but couldn't seem to score because of all of the turnovers. Lowndes will have the opportunity for redemption this Friday, September the 13th, facing Windsor Forest at 8 p.m. Season passes for the 2013 Viking football season remain on sale. Passes are only $20 for Lowndes middle and high school students with a valid school ID. Packages for the 7 home games of the season are also available for adults for $50. Tickets can be purchased from the ticket office located at the Board of Education Annex at 1592 Norman Drive. The ticket hours are Monday through Thursday from 12:30 to 4:30 p.m. and from 9 a.m. to noon on Fridays. On a lighter note, Valdosta High dominated the field last Friday with the win against Brooks County. The Valdosta Wildcats beat the visiting Brooks County Trojans 29-7. The Wildcats now possess a 2-0 record. The next game will take place this up-and-coming Friday the 13th against the Crisp County Cougars. Friday's loss for the Clinch County Panthers leaves them winless early in the 2013 season. The Panthers were in search of their first home win of the season, but But ultimately, the Chargers of the Eagles Landing Christian Academy defeated them by a score of 30-0. After the 16-0 lead at halftime, the Chargers took over and never looked back. The Panthers will compete next on September 13th on the road against the Seminole County before they return to face Telfair County on the 27th. For all you golf fans, a new breed of golf is starting to take off. The first closest to the pin car giveaway will take place in Duluth, Georgia. The event will begin on September 7th and conclude on October 12th and only costs $1 per shot. The way the competition works is that each winner, no matter who gets the ball in the hole, will have the chance to win a brand new Fiat 500. The intention of the competition is to celebrate golf pros while promoting participation. And that's all for sports. Back to you guys at the news desk.
Thanks, Quenisha. Coming up, Habitat for Humanity joins with hundreds of Valdosta servicemen and women in its annual Freedom Build project. Stay with us.
Today is Saturday. Today is Saturday. Yeah. Salad on Saturday, fruit on Friday, throw a ball Thursday. Water Wednesday, touch your toes Tuesday. Let's move Monday, swap snacks Sunday. All the healthy children eat well and move a lot. And move a lot. And move a lot. Eat well and move a lot. 60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. So keep them active and eating well every day. Skip a rope Saturday, freeze tag Friday, tap dance Thursday. Whole grains Wednesday, try a veggie Tuesday. Let's move Monday, split the sweet Sunday. Eat well and move a lot. Today is Saturday. Yeah. Today is Saturday. All the healthy children, all the healthy children. Get ideas. Get involved. Get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
I got my MBA online at VSU. As a working mom who travels on business, I needed an MBA program that fit my schedule and allowed me to balance both my work and home life. VSU's Web MBA was perfect. I was able to spend time with my family in the evenings and then complete my assignments. My MBA is one of my greatest accomplishments. It was hard work, but I would do it again in a heartbeat. Don't wait. Start your MBA today.
Welcome back to News Valdosta. Tomorrow, U.S. citizens all over the country will be reflecting on the 12th anniversary of the attacks on the Twin Towers. News Valdosta's very own Kayla Jordan is at Firehouse 1 to talk about the upcoming event. Kayla?
Thanks, Bridget. I'm here at Fire Station 1 where the September 11th ceremony will be held tomorrow at 8:45 a.m. The city of Valdosta wants to remind citizens that we will never forget and just to come out and support our firemen and our families. For News Valdosta, I'm Kayla Jordan.
Thanks, Kayla. According to the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, deer hunting season will open at the end of the week. Officials say deer hunting season officially begins September 14th. The hunting season ends in January. Chief of Game Management John Bauer says heavy rain this spring and summer led to more natural foods, which should translate to an increase in deer quality. Many public hunting grounds offer specialty hunts, including primitive weapons, adult and child hunts, and ladies-only hunts. Hunters are also allowed to harvest a maximum of 10 antlerless deer and 2 deer with antlers per season.
U.S. Senator Johnny Isakson of Georgia says he will vote against the resolution to authorize a U.S. military strike in Syria. Isakson has traveled throughout the state of Georgia talking personally with hundreds of Georgians and expressed his thoughts on how he feels that Georgians oppose our country getting involved in militarily in Syria. The resolution is expected to come to the Senate floor for consideration sometime this week.
After an alarming number of auto break-ins occurred over the weekend, Valdosta police are warning citizens to keep their car doors locked. 19 thefts were reported from vehicles. Most were scattered around the city, but 5 were reported on Delwood and Lakeview Drives, and officials believe they are connected. No arrests been made so far, and Valdosta police are monitoring pawn shops to see if any of the items turn up.
300 servicemen and women in Valdosta are coming together to build a home. They want to honor those lost in the 9/11 attacks, and this is a Habit for Humanity's 4th annual Freedom Build project. In partnership with the city of Valdosta, this $60,000 home will be finished by Saturday. Moody Senior Airman Rodriguez Barner says working one-on-one with retired vets makes this project so special. What makes this even more great is that this was funded through the City of Valdosta's Home Rehabilitation Grants.
Thanks for watching News Valdosta. I'm Brigette Wiley.
And I'm Zach Saxon. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.